यमुनतीरा वनचारी नतीरा वनचारी जयो राधा माधव जयो कुंज बिहारी जयो राधा माधव जयो कुंज बिहारी जयो गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरदारी जयो गोपी जन वल्लभ यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुनतीर वनचारी वनचारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय जय राधा रमण हरि गोविंद जय जय गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय जय राधा रमण हरि गोविंद जय गोविंद 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 गोपाल 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 गोविंद 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 गोपाल 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 हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 नाम संकीर्तन की हरे नाम संकीर्तन महायज्ञ की श्रील प्रभुपाद की गौ सीतनाथ परमानंदे हरि हरि बोल हरे कृष्णा. So I hope all of you are able to hear. The voice is okay, right? Thank you. So welcoming you all for this Sunday morning Bhagavatam. Katha. So today we are actually discussing the transcendental qualities of Vritrasura. So actually some classes back we did cover Vritrasura, his life, and then how Vritrasura happened, why it happened. So those details we covered a few weeks before. And now today we will, starting from today, we will discuss about the qualities or the transcendental qualities of Vritrasura. So that's what we're going to do. And for our reference, shloka reference, so we'll be looking at verse 24. That's in the 6th canto, chapter 11, verse number 24. That's the verse we'll be looking at. So before we get started, kindly repeat. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narotamam Devim Saraswatam Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Avadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hare Krishna. Is it visible? Okay, so verse 24 we will see. So first I will, okay, we can all repeat. Aham Hare Tava Padhaika Mula Dasanu Daso Bhavitasmi Bhuyaha Manasmareta Shupater Gunam Ste Grinita Vakarma Karoti Kayaha. So people can repeat. Aham Hare Tava Padaika Mula Dasanu Daso Bhavitasmi Bhuyaha Manasmareta Supater Punamste Grinita Vakarma Karotu Kayaha. Aham Hare Tava Padhaika Mula Dasanu Daso Bhavitasmi Bhuyaha Manasmareta Shupater Gunamste Grinita Vakarma Karotu Kayaha. Aham Hare Tava Padaika Mula Dasanu Daso Bhavitasmi Bhuyaha Manasmareta Shupater Gunamste Grinita Vakarma Karotu Kayaha. Mataji's. aham hare tava padaika moola dasanudaso bhavitasmi bhuyah manasmareta supater gunanste grinita vakarma karotu kayah. Anyone else? Yes. Aham hare tava padaika moola kalanudaso bhavitasmi bhuyah manasmareta shupater gunanste grinita vakarma. So we look at the synonyms word to word. You can repeat. Aham, I, Hare, O my Lord, Tava, of your Lordship, Pada Eka Moola, whose only shelter is the lotus feet. Dasa 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 Nudasaha, the servant of your servant. Bhavitasmi, shall I become? Bhuyaha, again. Manaha, my mind. Smareta, remember. Ashupate, of the Lord of my life. Gunan, the attributes. Te, of your Lordship. Granita, may chant. Vak, my words. Karma, activities of service to you. Karotu, may perform. Kayaha, my body. Translation and then the purport, both by Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada ki jai. Translation you can repeat. O my Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, will I again be able to be a servant of your eternal servants who find shelter only at your lotus feet? O Lord of my life, may I again become their servant so that my mind may always think of your transcendental attributes. My words always glorify those attributes, and my body always engage in the loving service of your Lordship. So the purport, so I just read the purport 1 second. This verse gives the sum and substance of devotional's life. One must first become a servant of the servant of the servant of Lord. Dasa Nudasa. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advised, and he also showed by his own example, that a living entity should always desire to be a servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna, the maintainer of the gopis. Gopi Barthu Pada Kamalayor Dasa Dasanu Dasaha. This means that one must accept a spiritual master who comes in the disciplic succession and is a servant of the Lord. Under his direction, one must then engage one's three properties, namely his body, mind, and words. The body should be engaged in physical activity under the order of the master. The mind should think of Krishna incessantly, and one's words should be engaged in preaching the glories of the Lord. If one is thus engaged in the loving service of the Lord, one's life is successful. Hare Krishna. So, like I was saying before, we are looking at the qualities, the transcendental qualities of Vritrasura. So, there are actually four verses that are there. So, we are looking at verse number 24. 24, 25, 26, and 27 are the four verses which actually describe the transcendental qualities of Vritrasura. So, these are the final shlokas of this chapter, chapter number 11. And then the chapter concludes, which means that that brings to the conclusion on the pastimes of Vritrasura. So here we actually, like I was mentioning before, we saw Vritrasura. I mean, how this personality of Vritrasura came about, and also we saw why it happened, why such a very different kind of a devotee we saw in Vritrasura. So we'll continue to see that. And we also saw how there is this fight that is happening between him and Indra. And in that fight, there is actually an exchange of philosophy, a discussion that happens between Indra and Vritrasura. So where Vritrasura is actually giving a Bhagavatam class, so to speak. So he is talking and he is injured. He's getting injured and he knows his end is near, but still he speaks. So we will try to see that. Okay. So before we get started, Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamsya He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanustute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gauravakta Vrinda Together Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, seeking the blessings of all the devotees present here, Vaishnavas, Vaishnavis, so many senior devotees. I don't have any qualification to speak about any devotee, especially Vritrasura and then his transcendental qualities. It's a wonderful topic today. So kindly bless me so that the right words come at the right time in the right spirit. I am doing this as a service to the Guru Parampara, for the pleasure of the Lordships, and for my own purification. Hare Krishna. So, the discussion is about Vritrasura. So now Vritrasura, who's actually Vritrasura? So he's a great personality. And how we can describe him is he is a devotee in an Asura body. So you can see pictorially how Vritrasura looked. So you like what you're seeing, Vritrasura? So very ferocious, right? Very ferocious, and he is actually very, not so very, I mean, anybody will get scared. Not only the children, even the men also were getting scared. The so-called warriors were also getting scared of him. In the past time, you can see the very form was so frightening. Actually, Vritra means Vritrasura. Vritra means one who covers. So he kind of covered himself completely. The earth, the sky, he was such a gigantic personality. And so that is how the name came about, which is called as Vritrasura. And that means that one who covers everything. So he not only covered bodily everything, when he started speaking, then we can realize how he actually covered the entire aspect of Adhyatmika, about what is transcendent, what is spiritualism all about. And he also showed how one should always think of the Supreme Lord, and how he also not only about transcendental, also in that he showed the highest, which is in this shloka that we saw. We can see how he showed what was his desire to become the servant of the servant of the servant of Lord. Dasa dasanu dasa. So that is how it goes. So when I will again be able to be a servant of your eternal servants. He never said that I wanted to serve the Lord directly. He always wanted to be the servant of the servants of the Lord, and who are finding shelter in the lotus feet of the Lord. So in this way, the philosophy that we are all introduced to in our movement, ISKCON, that is not something very new that existed from the time of Vritrasura and even beyond, even before that, we can see that. So this is not something that in general people will then talk about. I mean, what is this servant of the servant? I mean, I am there, the Lord is there, I would like to serve the Lord. Why should I not aspire to serve the Lord? So there are many such questions that come to practicing devotees, to me, to all of us, especially outsiders, when they want to question ISKCON and when they want to kind of corner or target us, then this is what they will talk about. But then we can understand from our acharyas, from the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam, how this aspect is not new. Like chanting, then we know that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and then he propagated the Sankirtan movement. But he didn't start the Sankirtan movement. He kind of, he restarted it, so to speak. I mean, it existed even before, but then he brought that about. So this is how, I mean, these are some of the learnings that we need to understand from what our acharyas are saying, what Prabhupada is saying. And Prabhupada so rightly connects immediately in the very first, in the purport itself, without taking much of time. He immediately goes on to the shloka of Dasa Dasano Dasa. And that's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spoke about, right? Now, we actually, we saw who is Vritrasura. Just a little bit on this particular chapter. I don't think you need to read all of that. So, reading I will do. Okay, so why is the story very significant? Because, like I just said, this is in the 6th canto, and the 6th canto actually, there are two great personalities that we talk about. It comes. One is, who's the other one? Ajamila. So Ajamila, and then the story of Vritrasura. So both of them are unique in their own way. Generally, we have this conception that a devotee means then there is a certain type of thing that comes to our mind. Very sattvic, very humble, and very helpful. All the 26 qualities of the Vaishnavas we know. So that is there. But then in this case, we see totally different. It doesn't match with any of those impressions or any of those images that we have of a devotee. Ajamila, he did all kinds of sinful activities that existed in the world. He kind of performed them, and that's what our acharyas have said. Correct, na? So in the same way, now when we look at Vritrasura, he's a demon, and he's fighting the devatas. And so he's fighting the devotees of the Lord. And then he's a demon. And he is so ghastly. So he's so scary to look at. So he doesn't seem to kind of have any of those accepted attributes of a Vaishnava. And that's how this particular pastime becomes unique. In spite of Vritrasura being what he is, he displays certain transcendental qualities, and that is the subject matter of our discussion today. So, Srimad Bhagavatam talks about the 10 characteristics. So, all of you know, it starts with what? Sarga, Visarga. Then after that, there is Sthanam, Poshanam. And then after that, there is Utaya. And then there is also Ishanukata, Manvantara, then Nirodha, and then Mukti, and then Ashraya. So out of that 10 characteristics, so we are actually looking at the aspect of Poshanam is being brought out or highlighted in these pastimes. So what is Poshanam? What do we understand by this word, Poshanam? Yeah, I heard nourishment. Yeah, that's the right word. So sometimes, like the Lord protects, we know. Lord always protects. But then the Lord also helps us to grow. He not only protects us, but he also helps us to grow. So this helping us to grow is nourishing. Generally, this poshanam we use it for when we have to, when we are referring to children or even like plants. Somebody who's interested in gardening, in planting plants, and then seeing it grow. You are actually doing poshanam. How do we do poshanam? We cut out the weeds, the dried twigs are removed. Twigs or the leaf are removed. We clean up, right? And then we add some manure, and then of course the water and all of that. So there are two things we are doing. We are actually taking away the non-desirable things which will hamper the growth of that plant. And then we also add water, and then maybe then we add, what is that? Fertilizer, what do you call that? Yeah, manure, to help it to grow in a better way. So this is Poshanam. So now, if we apply this particular definition or the understanding of Poshanam, nurturing, then the Lord is actually doing that. He has to ensure that the living entity is moving upwards, moving towards the Lord. And at the same time, they'll have to take some corrections that need to happen. So, in fact, there is this wonderful shloka in the Bhagavad Gita which talks about that, where the Lord says, what does he say? I protect what you have and give what you lack. What is that shloka that we are referring to? Ananyas chinta yanto mam ye jana paryupasate tesham nithya viyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. So, where this yogakshema is this, where he is actually, how it is getting translated? I carry what they lack and preserve what they have. So this preserving what they have is something that we don't see it so immediately. But when we look at these pastimes, like the Leelas, like about Ajamila and now Vritrasura, we can understand how whatever good was there in them, when I say good, I'm talking about the devotional aspect that existed in them, that was protected. That was protected for Ajamila. Any other example we can think of where the protection happened? Bharat Maharaj. So where he kind of deviated in between because he got attached to the deer. But in spite of that attachment, whatever devotional activities he had done was preserved. And hence, when he became a deer, then the Lord still gave the remembrance. And that's what the pages of Bhagavatam explain. Our Acharyas very wonderfully have brought out that aspect of how that is kept intact. So Krishna also talks about Neha Vikramano Asti Pratyavayuna Vidyate Swalpamapyasya Dharmasya. That's to encourage people like us, like me. So you keep doing something at least, a little bit of seva, and that is preserved for you. You don't have to worry. Like put a small amount in the piggy bank, like so small coin, like that. Keep adding coins, it'll become a note. So where did that come from? That concept? That's come from Neha Vikramano Asti only. So where little bit we do and then it is preserved. It's not just preserved till our lifetime or till we are children, in the case of a piggy bank. But then it is preserved for eternity. It doesn't go away anywhere. So which insurance company or bank can promise us that? I don't think there's anybody who would even think beyond. When they say lifetime, there is a clause to that. It is 60 or 70 years. When they say lifetime, we think till I'm there. If I'm 100 also, it will be there. No, there is a clause. It says it up to 60, 70 years. So like they say 24-hour, but then there is a window where they close down. So it's not 24-hour actually. So everything comes with some riders. So, but then here it is without any rider. When the Lord says that it is it is for eternity, I protect you. And that we can see in these. So in this, we saw how Ajamila was protected again. So even though he had done so much of sins, but then the aspect of the quality that existed in him, what he had done before, that was recognized by the Lord. And because of that, he uttered the name Narayana, and then he did it in a offenseless way. So, cutting the long story short, because of that, all his sins got wiped away. So, they never had to visit the sin. In fact, before the start of this canto, there is this Sthanam, which is the planetary system arrangements that are there. There is so much of description of the planets, the arrangement, the Sarga, Visarga, Sthanam, where the hellish planets are also described in the Bhagavatam. And when the hellish planets are described, the first thing that comes to anybody's mind would be like, oh my God, these places are also there. When heaven is there, then we listen to it happily. But when hellish planets descriptions are happening, then there is some amount of fear that is put into us. So in the same way, for the benefit of all of us, so Parikshit Maharaj actually is asking, what is it that I need to do so that I don't have to visit these hellish planets? And that is when then the story of Ajamila unfolds. And then the aspect of Poshanam is brought out by Vyasadeva and then narrated by Maitreya, who's actually narrating it to Vidura. So in this way, we can see there is a wonderful link that is there, which talks about how the Lord is, we move on to the next characteristic, which is Poshanam. So where he is actually nourishing or nurturing the living entity. And that nurturing is happening here also with Vritrasura. So this is what we are seeing. And when we are talking about the transcendental qualities, so there is this war that is happening. Indra is fighting with Vritrasura. And then there is this, they have come with, what does Indra have actually? There's something very special weapon he has. The Vajra. Yeah? So the children also know that, right? So you heard that story? Yes or no? Yeah. So that is a very special Vajra. It is made of the bones of Dadichi, Rishi, Muni. So we know that particular story. So I not go into the detail. But then he is fully equipped. He is very confident because he's been assured by the Lord that go ahead and then fight in this way. And then the victory is yours. But when he is going there and then fighting, Vritrasura comes. In spite of the assurance given by the Lord, he is actually taken aback. Why? Because when he uses it, when he is using the thunderbolt on Vritrasura, Vritrasura actually catches it with his left hand. And then he throws it back. So now Indra, what is he riding? He's riding, what does Indra ride on? Elephant or lion or tiger? Elephant, yeah. So Airavata. So the Airavata, he hits the Airavata. So along with Indra, the throne, Airavata, everybody moves back quite some distance, some 14 yards or something like that. And that actually bewilders him. Now there is some doubt that comes into Indra. He wonders like, there is an assurance given, but what has happened? I used it and then, suddenly then went back. So this is where the Lord is actually bringing out, he wants to bring out other aspects. He didn't want the war to end so quickly, you know. Otherwise, we wouldn't understand about the transcendental qualities of Vritrasura. So when that happens, Indra is hesitating. And all the others who are fighting on Indra's side, Devatas, the Sura army, they are also taken aback. And then they are like scared a little bit. When they see Vritrasura come, they are scared. But before this, what had happened? When Indra is advancing with the Vajra, then on the opposite side, the enemy camp, that is Asura side, all the soldiers they get scared and they start running away because they realize that our time is over now. Because Indra has come, he's been fully empowered. There is this Vajra and all that. Even though I have this big person supporting us, this is not going to work out. And they're all running for their life. They want to save themselves. But then Vritrasura is when then he starts to speak. When he sees this, what he is saying, he's condemning all of them as cowards. So he's speaking very bravely. And then he stands alone in front of the demigods. And when the demigods saw Vritrasura's attitude, then they become afraid. So even though they were confident, these people were not confident. But then Vritrasura changed that single-handedly. So he made these people less confident. Who? The Suras. And looking at him, then they are all like now very scared, and Indra is not using. He has to, what should he do when you are fighting? When you hit one, you put something, you have to put something else, right? You have to attack, right? You have to keep on attacking. That is what you're supposed to do. But he's not doing that. He's like bewildered, stabda. He's just standing like that. And a lot of things are passing on in his mind. Then he is telling him, go ahead. What are you waiting for? Use the astra that is there. You have been empowered. I know it will kill me. I mean, it can kill me. So you are supposed to do that. Go ahead and then fight. Go ahead and fight and kill me. So there are different types of challenges that happen. You know, generally when two people are fighting, there's a challenge. Come on, hit me. Let me see what happens. So that's like in a very challenging way. But here, he's telling that go ahead and then do your duty. You are supposed to do this. Don't hesitate now. If you hesitate, then I'll have to make my advance, and that's not going to work out well for you. So this is the personality of Vritrasura. And then what happens is, of course, then the story about how the Dajichi gave up his bones come up. So we will not discuss that. But then he says, go ahead and then finish off this life of mine. He wants his life to end, the life of Vritrasura. So this, you can see, this is the soul in Vritrasura which is talking. And then he says, go ahead and then kill me. Then he says in the follow-up, that is these verses that we are saying for today, where verse number 24, he says, he's praying to the Lord. He says, will I again be able to be a servant of your eternal servants? That's the first prayer that he says, where he is already want to become a servant of the servants of the Lord. And he's praying to the Lord that I again become their servant, that my mind may always think of your transcendental attributes. And then there are the three things that are there with each one of us. What are they? Our body, our mind, and then our speech. So all these three, let it be used for glorifying the Lord. I want to speak about the glories of the Lord. I want to think of the Lord always. And I want to serve the Lord using the body. So this is the prayer that we are seeing. And this is not a direct service. So we saw that. So actually the prayers become very important. So we are seeing how actually Vritrasura is praying to the Lord, and also he is addressing Indra. And in the prayer, there are many components that come out. So there are many prayers in the Srimad Bhagavatam. What are some of the prayers that come to our mind? Kunti Maharani prayers, I know. So that's there. Then Gajendra Moksha, that's Stuti that comes. So there are, Bhishma Parvaya, Bhishma prayers. So all of these prayers, and now today the prayers of Vritrasura also can be included in that. So there, what are the main components of a prayer? We need to understand that a little bit. Of course, such a prayer by a devotee is not about seeking anything. Generally, outsiders, we will talk about seeking something. Oh Lord, give me this. Help me, give me that. let me get that promotion, I will do this. So that is not what it is. That's at a very elementary level. We know that that's not how prayers are to be. Correct, na? Right? Then what it should be is what we need to focus on. While we know what it should not be, which is we don't ask anything material, but then we also need to know what is it that, what are the components of the prayer. So who was actually even Dhruva Maharaj? So when he saw the image of the Lord, he was actually speechless and he was a little bewildered when he saw the Lord. The same Lord he was meditating, who appeared in his mind, he is seeing him in front of him, Pratyaksha. And he is a little confused. He's taken aback. He's bewildered. He doesn't know what to do. He's not able to speak anything. And then what happens? The mercy of the Lord is there. So there, what is happening? The Lord actually is touching the forehead of boy Dhruva, and then everything becomes clear. So by the mercy of the Lord, then his mind becomes clear, and then he offers prayers to the Lord. So this is a situation where the Lord actually has to empower us so that we will be able to pray to the Lord or praise him. So on our own, we cannot do anything. So that's one of the things that comes out very clearly in all these prayers. So the main components are, the first component is the position of the Lord is very nicely brought out in any prayer that you see. Like how he is the supreme, how there is no one who is equal to him. Each of the devotees describe it in different ways. So like we know that the Lord is Asama Urdhava. So he doesn't have anybody who is equal to him, nor is there anyone who is greater than him. And then the person who's offering this prayer, they are also talking about their position with respect to the Supreme Lord. What is their position? I don't have any qualification. I am fallen, which is true. I'm here. I can't understand anything. So now you can see, if you have, so some of you have kind of memorized Kunti prayers, so you will be able to see these aspects come out. In any prayer, you can see that. And then there is one more reference they always make invariably. So first one was the position of the Lord. Second one is my position, which is below. So the Lord is top and then I'm here. And then there is also this acknowledgement of another energy of the Lord which happens, which is that the Maya Shakti, how I am in Maya. And you have to acknowledge Maya Shakti. You cannot say that it's okay. You can't. Because it's again an energy of the Lord. So Maya's insurmountable energy has to be acknowledged, and we can see that. Maya, Javanika, Channam, the very first, second verse itself, Kunti Maharani is talking about Maya. And then she says how it is so difficult to overcome. And then she also talks about how your understanding I can't have. I can't have your understanding. Your understanding is you explain to the Munis and Rishis, who are all so wonderful, intelligent people, and they can understand. But I'm just a woman. What can I do? So what is this aspect that is coming out here? The aspect of humility. So all the prayers, one of the underlying things is about humility, about humbleness, about how we submit ourselves or surrender ourselves to the Lord. So Supreme Lord, myself, and then there is something that is stopping me from realizing the Supreme, which is the Maya Shakti, and that is insurmountable. So you can visualize that. And then, so then what happens? If that's the case, there has to be complete surrender. So there has to be surrender, means then you have to beg for mercy. And the mercy aspect, so please pull me out of this. Pull me out of this particular place where I am. And these are the basic components of a prayer, which you can see in any of the prayers that you listen to, and you can see that. Like, I just put some examples here where Namasye Kuntiyo Vacha. So Kunti Maharani is saying, Namasye Purusham Tvadyam Ishwaram Prakrite Param Alakshyam Sarvabhutanam Antar Bahiravasthitam. So what does that mean? I offer my obeisances unto you because you are the original personality and are unaffected by the qualities of the material world. So you are different from here. How you are different and how I am not different. I am affected by the material energy, but you are not. So like that, the clear Bheda is being established. And then only when there is Bheda, then only prayer can happen. How many of you agree to this? If there is Abheda, then there is no this thing. Na? That is what is the Maya or the philosophy all about. Where we think everybody is one. If everybody is one, then why I should do a prayer? Why I should surrender? Why? So our mind starts working in full-fledged on that direction. And then there is no service that happens. There is no surrender. If there is no surrender, then there is no way that you can go anywhere near the Lord. So there is no bhakti component that comes in. So the Lord's mercy is also withheld to that extent. To the extent that we surrender, the Lord opens up. So a little bit of surrender, he opens up a little bit about himself. So this way, we can understand how the Veda Tattva is something that comes out very nicely whenever there is any prayer involved. And we can see that with Vritrasura, even though he was so formidable, he actually, you can, if you look at it in a very logical way, Lord has said, Lord has empowered Indra, and still I made Indra and Airavata to go back a little bit. And that too, he uses the empowerment through Dadichi, all that has happened. But still, he went few steps back, or I was able to push him back. So there is a very good opportunity for pride to come in. But then, for Vritrasura, that did not happen. Ego did not happen. In the fight in Mahabharata, there is this thing, no, about, I don't know if that is authentic, but then they say there is this fight between Karna and then Arjuna, where Arjuna is shooting arrows and then Karuna's chariot is moving little bit only. Whereas when Karuna does it, when Karuna is attacking Arjuna, then the chariot moves back a little bit. Whereas it moved more distance when Arjuna is attacking Karna. But still, Krishna is actually praising Karna. Like he says, Vah, Karna, something like that. And then that is because and then Arjuna is actually saying, what is this? I made the chariot move so much back. You didn't say any Vah for that. But then for him, you're saying Vah. He says, you think about whom he's fighting. I am here seated. And then he's fighting. And with that, in spite of that, it is moved a little bit. So anyway, I don't know if that is Shastric, but then there is I've heard this, so I mentioned that because I thought it is a little relevant here. So the aspect of how sidestepped, like who our Vritrasura sidestepped Maya. So we heard that yesterday in the class by His Grace Radhesham Prabhu. He was saying, like, don't confront Maya. You can never confront Maya. You can't take Maya head on. Don't ever think of doing that. So whenever there is Maya influence happening, try to sidestep Maya, or else, try to slip away. So you will have to use the intelligence to slip away. How do I get that intelligence? Who has to give that intelligence? The Lord only has to give. So how will the Lord give? So, Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tesha Satata Yuktanam. So we do devotional service. So Bhajatam Preeti Purvakam. That line becomes very important. Whichever way we look at it, like it all comes back to that same point of Bhajatam Preeti Purvakam. So where we have to do devotional service to the Lord. And doing devotional service, the importance of that, generally what happens is we don't realize it, or at least I can speak for myself. I don't realize it so much because we've been given the best, even though we are not qualified. I'm not qualified, but then you're given the best. So we don't realize the value. But then when we hear such descriptions of the importance of bhakti, the importance of humility, the importance of how we need to surrender, and how great personalities did that, like Vritrasura in this case, then we realize, oh my God, these are things that we are already doing. Dasa Dasanu Dasa we knew, but then Vritrasura also is talking about the same thing. So then our faith becomes a little more, one more strand is added to that rope which is keeping us tied to bhakti, So that rope becomes a little stronger or thicker. So like that, we will have to work on this. And that is what Vritrasura is also showing. He says you have to cultivate devotional service or bhakti or remembrance of the Lord. Smaranam aspect, where here he is talking about Smaranam. There is a little bit of uniqueness in all the prayers. What is the uniqueness of Kunti Maharani's prayer? What does she ask for? Trouble. Nobody asks for that. She says, give me trouble so that I'm grounded. So that my ego, there is not a situation where I forget you. My memory is gone away. So I can remain grounded and you are always there and then I'll be grounded. So this is her uniqueness. Vritrasura also has an uniqueness. he is saying that, see, when he is remembering all this, he is actually remembering the Lord in the mood of separation. How is that? While he knows the theory, he understands who's the Supreme Lord, he understands devotional service, he knows he has to do all of this, but he is not able to perform any of this. Why? Because he is a demon, Prabhu, right? Sorry? Yeah, Asura body. So he is a demon. So the body is hampering him from performing devotional service. So he has to play that role. He has to be ferocious. He has to show the teeth, scare people. Though he doesn't, that's not his swabhava. So from that perspective, he is actually praying. Our acharyas are saying, Prabhupada says that he is praying in the Vipralambha bhava, where he is yearning for that. He wants to actually, when is the time when I can serve the devotees, or I can align myself to the lotus feet of the devotees who are serving the Lord. So like that, he is yearning for that. And that's the Vipralamba Baba, and that's the speciality of Vritrasura's prayer. He's feeling that separation. He's crying out actually in these verses. And our movement also, in one of the lectures that I was hearing, they were saying that our movement is also for this only purpose. Why is this whole movement Prabhupada put up in place? So that we can cry. We have to cry for Krishna. We need to develop that bhava of crying. If we can't cry, I think there was this Prabhupada's, one of the lectures where talking about cry for Krishna. No, I think it was His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj's lecture, where they're saying like, you have to cry. Then he says, I cannot cry. Then he says, then you cry that you cannot cry. And he says, I cannot cry that I cannot cry. Then you cry that you cannot cry, that you cannot cry for Krishna. So somehow you cry. That's the whole point. So there is nothing more that is going to get us anywhere. Understanding of the Shastras, talking about philosophy, all that is fine. It is like food for the brain. But then when we have the right kind of tutoring that happens, like when we hear from the parampara, then it is quite natural these emotions have to come. What is this emotion? Emotion of humility. It is quite natural. Where is that verse in Bhagavad Gita which talks about that? Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavi Hastine. So Sunichaiva Swapakena Pandita Samadarshina. So Vidya has to bring Vinaya. So if it is not bringing out Vinaya, then it is not Vidya, it is Avidya. So we can do that test. So when I learned something, then is it bringing out Vinaya in me? If it doesn't, then it is not Vinaya. It is not Vidya, it is Avidya. So these are very wonderful things that have been put forward to us, which we need to contemplate on, meditate on, and discuss it among devotees, among Vaishnavas. That is what Radhesham Prabhu was also saying. He said, Bodhayante parasparam, katayantaste mam nityam, tushyanti cha, ramayanti cha. So where yesterday he wonderfully explained about how we need to have this association. Just chanting is the starting ground. But then if we have to sustain our chanting, which is a devotional activity again, we need to have association. And if we have to have association, again, there is one quality which will help us get more association. What is that? Humility. So wherever you go, you can't escape humility. So it's better that we try to cultivate humility, because it has to be cultivated. It doesn't come as naturally it doesn't come because of our conditioning. So we have so much of egos, so much of vasanas, so much of preconditioning that is there. So it is quite natural for us to see the differences and then see that one-upmanship, or I am better, that kind of a thing. Whereas we will have to move against that and then see the oneness. So this whole aspect of advancing in spiritualism is the aspect of seeing the oneness to begin with, not the difference between others. And then even in that oneness, you take a lower position and then say that they are much better than me. That comes much later. So maybe that's something that we can think of when we come to this oneness at least. So generally we look at differences. That is how we identify ourselves, right? Even materially also. Oh, you see an individual, you see, oh yeah, he's a devotee, but you know what? He's from this place. Or you know what? He speaks that language. You know what? He is from this side of the city. Or you know what? He comes in that vehicle. You know what? So there's always this but. Radhesham Prabhu spoke of that also. So he always speaks about but, and then we have many reasons for us to give, which will prevent us from being humble. And humility is something that has to be, we'll have to cultivate, we'll have to understand. We may not be successful at it. We keep on trying till some mercy is coming. So in this way, we these are some of the things that the lecture that I was talking about, one of our acharyas were saying. And if you have to bring in humility, there's another aspect that they bring out. He talks about humility not in a slave kind of a mentality, but with proper understanding. That's the difference between a Vaishnava. Vaishnava is very humble, but then he is also aware of the position. He understands the tattva, and he understands the logic why I am humble or why I need to be humble. And he also understands and appreciates and then practices. So the realization becomes more complete than just being humble. That becomes like a very ritualistic kind of a thing, or like, okay, for everything you keep saying, then it'll be like there would be instances where our viveka disappears. There are instances where you need not have to be so humble, maybe because of what you're trying to do. Of course, you're doing something for Krishna, but there, that discretion or the discrimination we might not be able to bring in. Where the viveka we may not be able to bring in if we don't have the understanding. It would be very sentimental. Oh, no, I don't have to do this. That's it. So then we may not be able to execute a certain seva in the way it has to be done. It might go there. That's a different topic. But anyway, I'm just bringing that out as food for thought. Now, what is this correct understanding? Like I said, the Lord and then me, and then I need the Lord. The Lord does not need me. How many of you agree to this? Does the Lord want us? Let's be open about it. Does the Lord want us? No. Yeah, he wants us. So that's a good thing. But then he doesn't want us in the way we think he wants us. So if I can just add a little bit of a rider there. So he doesn't need us. How do we know this? What is the praman for this? No, Atmaram, and also there is this Brahma Samhita. There are these lakhs of Lakshmis who are doing the service. Pantastu Koti. So Sampragamyo. No, not that. Sorry. Lakshmi Sahasra Sata Sambrama Sevyamanam. So where there are millions and millions of Lakshmi Devis who are serving, what are they doing? What is the service that they do? They wipe the floor, the palace, the room where the Lord, everything. And are they dirty to be wiped? No, they are spotless, clean anyway. But then they have to do some seva. And then they just take it and then do it. And they do it wholeheartedly. And that is all they want. They are on there. In fact, in that it is explained, Prabhupada says they are on their knees and they are trying to wipe, like how a maid servant would do. Of course, today you have vacuum cleaners, so we don't know that. But then, there's this way of doing it. So much of relishment is there in that seva, and then they go about doing it. So from this, and then Prabhupada says in his lectures that don't think the Lord is coming here, his avatars are there because he wants people in his abode so that all people will come and do seva. It's not like that. He doesn't want it. There are enough and more, but he doesn't want us to suffer, so he wants to get us out. So from that perspective, we can understand the Lord, so to speak, he doesn't need us, but then we need the Lord. So it's for me, my progress, my benefit, that I need to connect with the Lord and serve him. So that's the aspect that just wanted to highlight here. Then what is happening? Sorry. So in the subsequent verses, there is also this analogy of how Vritrasura is suffering this Vipralamba. I'll not cover that because other classes it will get covered, where they are giving the analogy of how a woman is waiting for the husband, how a calf is waiting for the milk to be given, in that way. Like there is a lot of completely yearning for that. Yearning as in Y-E-A-R, and not earning, not the salary that you get. It is that yearning that is there. And then the point that he is also saying that we need to cultivate humility, which we covered. And then we come to this point where we can appreciate Krishna based on the position that I am in as the body that I have. And then when I will be able to reunite with the Lord, the burning desire again to serve the Lord. So these are some of the things that are very unique to the prayer of Vritrasura. Now, when we come to the aspect of Dasa Dasanudasa, I think this discussion will not be complete if we don't discuss about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki. So Dasa Dasanudasa is something that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave it to us. And then he said how, and he didn't give it to us theoretically. He actually showed it. He showed. He came as a devotee and then he showed how to be Dasa Dasanudasa. How? And then in the Sikshashtakam also there is this prayer where the aspect of humility is being highlighted by Mahaprabhu, which is Trinadapi Sunichena Tarur Api Oriva Sahishnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadaharihi. So where and that is how then we see whoever was approaching Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they were approaching with a blade of grass in their mouth, which is indicative of their humbleness. And then how they are saying that I am approaching you with all my humility. So without this humility, nothing happens. So and if you look at Chaitanya Charitamrita and the Madhya Lila, there is this verse which is taken from Srimad Bhagavatam, which talks about this. So people who are doing the purification, they must be aware of this. What is that verse which talks about this? Naham Vipro Nacha Narapater Napi Vaishyo Na Shudro, and then Naham Varni Nacha Grihapater Na Vanasto Yathir Va, and then Kintu Prodhyan Nikila Paramananda Purnamrutabde Gopi Bhartu Pada Kamalayor Dasa Dasanu Dasa. So where the aspect of how when we become a servant of the servant, that is, and then start serving them, then the prayojan of how Prema Ananda, that is the transcendental Ananda we will get, which is actually Purnam, which is whole, complete. And also it is Amrita Abdhir. Abdi is ocean. It is huge in quantity and in qualitatively it is full of sweetness. So it's not just that only quantity is there. You have quantity and quality also. So where it is huge is Abdi. It is an ocean. And then it is very sweet also. And that becomes, that is something that comes to us. And for that, the first thing is Naham Vipro. What is Naham Vipro? Vipro means not the company Vipro. So, I mean, it's not like I don't work for Wipro, so I am Naham Vipro. No. Vipra is a Brahmana. I don't consider myself a Brahmana or a Narapati. Who's a Narapati? A Kshatriya, a ruler. So nor am I a Kshatriya, nor am I a Vaishya, nor am I a Shudra. I don't belong to any of these four categories. Or you might say Krishna made this. Huh? How many of you thought of this? Krishna made this? Yeah, Krishna made that. But then when everything is diluted, then Krishna also is now saying, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came in, don't identify yourself with those. Don't get connected in a way that you are complete. I am that. Because I am not the body, which means that all the bodily designations I am not. But those designations he created so that we can identify where we are and then move on. So like we are put in a certain class, we identify where we are in that particular class or in that particular section so that I can align myself and then move out of that, get out of it, not to remain there. So from that perspective, this is aligning. And then he also says we don't belong to any of the ashramas also. Neither am I a brahmachari, nor am I a vanaprasthi, nor am I a grahastha, nor am I a yati or a sannyasi. So any of those. But I am just a servant of the servant of the servant. That's the mood that has to be cultivated. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually showed this so wonderfully to us. How did he show that? There are so many pastimes of Mahaprabhu, but there's one pastime that stands out very well. So, which is a pastime of any the pastime of the Brahmanas, or no, not the Brahmanas, the Banaras, the sannyasis in Banaras. Hmm? Yeah, Prakashananda Saraswati, headed by him. So we know Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he came, what was his sole purpose? He was giving out the nectar freely. What was it, nectar? Harinam nectar. Harinam nectar means he was giving Krishna. So because Krishna and name Krishna are non-different. So he was giving Krishna, he was distributing freely. It is like, you ask any student, they'll say like, you are being given admission to IIT freely. Like you just go there, stand there, they will give it to you. So it's like that. You say, wow, I don't have to take any test. No, I don't have to clear it. Never. You don't even have to take the test. You just have to present yourself. That is the only effort that you have to put. And then you will be given admission to whatever IIT institute or whatever you want to get in. So that is like nectar to the ears of a person who has just finished his or her 12th. So like that, there is no qualification needed. Anybody comes, anybody and everyone. This nectar is being given, and that is how Mahaprabhu gave. And then he inundated the whole of Bharat. So he traveled north, south, east, west. I'm not going in a chronological way order, but then I'm just saying what Mahaprabhu did. And he sent his Parshadas, he sent everybody. The only thing is to give. In fact, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it says like how the richness of this Nama is plundered by them, by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There is Lutna, Lutna. That's how the verse describes, where he says they plundered and then they distributed. You've seen in movies they show sometimes attacking armies. They come and then they get into the palace. They get into the chest where the treasure is kept, and then they plunder it. Like they take whatever comes to their mind, grab it, and then give it to whoever, anybody. It's free for all kind of a thing. That is how they were actually luteras. They were looting the chest of bhakti, and then they were giving it to anybody and everybody who was coming. And that's how inundation was happening. No pre-qualification was needed. And when that was happening, and Mahaprabhu was Nama Sankirtan, correct, na? So he was always doing Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So like this, Mahaprabhu was going everywhere. And then everybody is watching. People who wanted it, they went and took, and then they were all benefiting. But there was one category of people who were a little stubborn and they didn't want to approach Mahaprabhu. I told you, you go and stand in front and they'll give you. But they didn't go and stand in front. Who are they? They are the sannyasis or the Mayavadi sannyasis. So that is especially of the Banaras. So because Mahaprabhu went to Banaras, and when he went to Banaras, then instead of they started ridiculing this movement. They started ridiculing Mahaprabhu. They said, what is this? And this was after Mahaprabhu became a sannyasi. So he says he's our own biradari, he belongs to us only, he's one of us. But then look at what he's doing. And he's just singing and dancing, very emotional. What is this? So they were condemning. They said like, Arey, we are sannyasis. We have left everything we are supposed to do. Shastras, we have to understand. Philosophy, we have to debate. These are the things that we should be doing. And what are you doing? You are just singing and dancing and that on the streets. So this was how they were looked at. But Mahaprabhu is very merciful. Mahavadanyaya. It's for everyone means it is for everyone. Everyone includes even the sannyasis of Banaras. Yes or no? Correct, na? So he wants to give it to them also. So there is this whole Leela that happens where actually to cut the Leela short. So what happens is Mahaprabhu is initially he is ignoring. He doesn't mind. He continues to do what he is doing. But then it becomes too much. And the devotees around Mahaprabhu are feeling a little bad about it. So Mahaprabhu actually stayed in Banaras in the house of Tapan Mishra. And there is Tapan Mishra, and then he actually called Sanatan Goswami comes. They're having discussions. Mahaprabhu stayed for 3 months there. And he is explaining aspects of bhakti, a lot of things, discussions they are having. When all this was happening, outside ridicule is happening. So Tapan Mishra and there's another personality who's Chandrasekhara. So they were together with Mahaprabhu. Then they said, what is this? Everybody is talking about you like this. They're ridiculing you. We don't want to hear. We are getting very agitated, disturbed. So then Mahaprabhu smiles and then he allows. Then what happens? Then the Leela unfolds. There's a Brahmana who comes. He's inviting all the sannyasis. Generally, what we do, any Muni or sannyasi is invited to the household, so they'll come and bless. So he did the same thing. So he said, he comes to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he says, please come to visit my house. So why? Because I have invited all the sannyasis. Please do come. You are also a sannyasi. Come. He says, okay, then we can have a discussion. Something like that. So then he agrees. Then he also says, I know you don't associate. Actually, Mahaprabhu was not associating with any of the sannyasis. He was keeping them away. So he was telling us, don't associate with Mayavadis. So, but then he agrees. Then he smiles and he agrees. And then finally, on that particular day, when the invite was there, Mahaprabhu visits that Brahmana's house. When he visits, what does he see? He sees all the sannyasis of Banaras. Most of the prominent ones are already seated there. They are headed by Prakashananda Saraswati. So he is also there, and then they're all there. They're all sitting there. So Mahaprabhu comes in, and so there is no, and then he comes, then as is the custom, you wash your feet and hands before you enter a home. So that is generally at the outside. There is a tap or whatever. So see, a bucket is there. So he does that, and he sits down there only, where the water has to go. And people are a little surprised, like, what is this? So, but then there is one thing that they all notice. What is it that they notice in Mahaprabhu? The glow. He's glowing. The tejas. That they cannot miss. Okay. So they understand he is a very learned person, or there is so much of this thing in him that he is glowing. He's glowing almost like Narayana. That's how they conclude. And then, the activities that he does is not so great. So this kind of perplexes them. But then, Prakashananda Saraswati, he sees him sitting there, and then he goes there, and then he he escorts him inside. He says, please come inside and then sit. And then they have this conversation. He says, why are you doing this? You are supposed to be like us, talk about philosophy, but then you are just dancing, singing, and on the streets. This is not very becoming of, you're actually putting a bad name for all of us sannyasis kind of thing, So he says, then Mahaprabhu is smiling. And then he actually explains. Then he says, how does he start off? How does he start off? He doesn't say, come, I will tell you, I'll do a class for you. Come, let's all sit. Where's the garland for me? Get it. Now we will do. That's not what Mahaprabhu did. What did he say? He says, my guru tells me that I am a murkha, fool, abhoda jata, something like that. I am inexperienced, avara, and I am abhoda jata. So that means bodhi, that is knowledge, no? Abhoda means no knowledge. Jata means by birth, I am born fool. That's what it means. So like that, very humbly, he is putting it across, saying that this is what it was. But before that, what was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? He was Nimai Pandit. He has defeated so many people. And then he is well versed with all the Shastras. Everything is there. But then, what was the view? That is not of any help. So you are a fool. So you just do chanting. You only do Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So like that, this is what I have been told to do. I am doing this. And when I am doing this, I am getting bliss. And what is that bliss that I am getting? I am not able to control my senses. I don't know what I am doing. It is so blissful. There is a lot of bliss that is coming in. So he's also giving the prayer. He says, and that is how then we all are dancing and chanting. So this is how Mahaprabhu is explaining about himself. Then he is also talking about the glory of the Harinam. He says it is so glorious that it is beyond all the intellectual things, understanding, the joy that you get of intellectual. If you understand something, you become happy, right? How many of you feel very happy when you understand something? Yeah, it's quite natural. But this joy is even beyond that. How many of you felt that when you're chanting or when you're dancing? Very nice. So like that, This bliss is much more than the bliss that you get out of understanding scriptures, about philosophical debates, about tattva. This is much more than that. So, like that, he's bringing out the essence of Harinam. And then, actually, the Brahmanas, I mean, the sannyasis who are there, they all accept. They say, what you say is correct. I understand. Because Lavamatra Sadhu Sangha. And who is the Sadhu? Sadhu is none other than Krishna. And he is in that mood of Radharani, he is in the mood of giving. So he is just giving. He is so in that mood, then they have got this association. So naturally, there is bound to be some transformation, correct? Na? So they first level transformation is there, change of heart. They say, you are very bright, you are having the stages, you are very attractive. They get attracted by that, the glow that is coming from Mahaprabhu, and then they accept the words of the Nama, that is Harinam being supreme. Then he says, but then what about the philosophy? They're asking. In 3 levels, Mahaprabhu gives. I'm not going into the details. First level was on the Harinam, and he talks in detail about Harinam. Then after that, they are asking this question about the philosophy. There he says, you people have a wrong understanding of the philosophy. He tries to bring out that aspect. He says what it is not, the Mayavada aspect. Because Prakashanand Saraswati would have said, you are our own cult, you belong to our cult, which is Shankara cult. So, but then you are doing something else. Then he says, in the Shankara cult, you people have understood things wrongly. Because, and then he actually glorifies Shankaracharya, but then he says, you people have accepted this and that is your folly, that's your mistake. So like that, he's dissecting the very sensitive issue, and then he's putting it across to them. He says what it is not, what tattva is not about, what it is not about. So because what it is not about? Whatever they believed in. What was it that they believed in? That we become one with the Lord, me and Lord are not the same. So all of that tattva. So it's not that. You have not understood it correctly, he says. They say, okay, I agree. We all agree to this also. What you're saying, and then he quotes many references and he convinces them. Then he says the sannyasis agree to that. They say, okay, we agree to this also. Now you tell us then what it is. You told us up till now what it is not. First, he spoke of Harinam, they accepted it. He spoke about what it is not and they accepted it. Now you tell us what it is. And that is when then again another class happens, where he says how the same philosophy that is coming down to us about Mahaprabhu's Achintya Beda Tattva, about how the Lord is one yet different, how he is different, how he is Asama Urdhava, how he is not contaminated by material energy, the uniqueness. So in this way, they have the discussion which talks about Sambandha, Abhidaya and Prayojan. This is a heavy philosophical discussion. There are 100 verses are there, which talk about so much in depth, which brings out all the qualities. Then they realize whom they are actually talking to. They realize that this has to be a Porshya, because Mahaprabhu talks saying that the Vedas are a Porshya, it's coming from the Lord, it is true, but you have interpreted it wrongly. From there he starts. And then he gives this out. When he gives this out, there is complete acceptance from the sannyasis, and then because of the mercy flowing out from Mahaprabhu, and then they accept it. But and they all then immediately again convert and then join Mahaprabhu in Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So that is the transformation that brought about to the sannyasis of Banaras, where it started off with what? Humility. And that is how Mahaprabhu is showing how to be humble, and how you can actually, your humility should touch the hearts of people. And then you touch their heads, in the sense you win in an argument or debate. Otherwise, the starting point is the heart. And our movement is all about that. So that is why you see in so many lectures, say the same thing is being repeated. Hare Krishna Mahamantra, give them prasada. So prasadam is an extension of the Lord only, no? Because it was offered to the Lord. So it is the Lord. So if you can't chant, then at least eat something. So our movement is all about chanting, dancing, and eating. So what is this dancing all about? It is that ecstasy that they are seeing. And the dancing ecstasy is again actually brought out by the Panchatatvas. So that's a different philosophical discussion. So we'll not get into that. But that is also full of philosophy. The very Panchatattva, So much of philosophy, the full entire philosophy is there in that. What are the names of Panchatattva? Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita, Gadadhar, Srivas. And then Adi is also there, plus all the others. Plus all the others are not just the people who are there in Mahaprabhu's Leela during the Sankirtan. It is extended all the way up to us and beyond, other generations to come. Plus Adi. So that's all of us. So like that, our movement has got so much of philosophy and the topmost philosophy. But then we need to be humble. Only then we will be able to understand this. And then we have to humbly submit to the parampara. Then we will be able to understand the wealth that is there. And we will be able to realize it. When we realize and appreciate it better, there are two things that happen. Our sadhana will increase. More than that, we will realize, did I really deserve all of this? And that's the first step of humility, right? Otherwise, we think it is my right. Oh, I'm here. I have a right to all of this. I have a right to the prasadam. But how many of us think like there is in Kannada, there is a saying. What is that? Palik bandiddu panchamrita. People who can understand Kannada. Whatever comes to my hand is panchamrita, which means that I'm satisfied with what comes. It is a mercy that is coming from the Lord. How many of us see it like that? I mean, I'm just saying theory. I don't see it myself too. We always look at the other plate when we are being served. Arey, usko thoda, you got a bigger sweet piece of that sweet, which I like so much. So we are, but then we have to put that effort to be there. While we understand theory and then put that effort, then what happens? The mercy of the Lord will begin to flow. And that mercy is what will get us or transforms our heart. And then we'll come to a point where we will really not be so mindful about the things that are not coming our way, and we'll be more mindful about what the others are getting, and then how I can assist somebody in the seva and so on and so forth. That's a whole lot of things for us to understand, experience, realize, and then move forward. So on this note, I just want to conclude by saying that this aspect of humility is very, very, very important, which Mahaprabhu showed, which Vitrasura showed, or is showing in the discussion that we did today. And all the prayers have humility built in them, be it Kunti Maharani or Gajendra Moksha, any prayer that you take, any Vaishnava prayer, because other prayers would be materialistic prayers. So I want this, give me dhan dehi, dhanam dehi, not that kind of prayer. But we are talking about Vaishnava prayers, so which has this humility built in. And we need to understand that. And that it's that humility which makes that prayer so endearing and then great. It's the humility in Mahaprabhu which changed the hearts of them, which accepted. They got him in, and then the way he sat there, and then he brought it. He's the Lord himself. But then he showed so much of humility. Why did he show that? He's showing how to be a devotee. And that's the whole aspect. So on this note, I will stop here. If there are any comments or any questions, and anybody wants to add anything, please go ahead. So otherwise, we can conclude. Yeah, Prabhu. He raised the hand, I think.
Hare Krishna, Vijay. Thank you so much for the wonderful class. I also heard that if you're not humble, you will be humbled. Yeah. So now the point what I wanted to clarify, understand is when you get humbled, how should that translate to being humble, Ravi? Because essentially it doesn't translate to being humble.
Yeah, that's a good point that you made. If we are not humble, then we will be humbled. All of us know this, right? Who's going to humble us? Somebody might say situations, somebody might say person X humbled me, but it is actually the hand of the Lord. So we are able to see that. If we are able to see this, when we have the right knowledge or understanding, then the way we react to being humbled will be different. See, when we are humbled, there is naturally some amount of that revolt that happens within us. Correct, na? How many of you agree? There is this revolt. But no, this. So we resist that, being humbled. But then when we accept it, when we know that I made a mistake, so for that, then we have to step beyond ourselves. So if you have to step beyond myself means what? I don't look at myself as this body or this designation that I'm carrying. So if I don't look at it like that, then in my mind, my thoughts, my intelligence, my image, all that is not me, then so it is with proper knowledge we will be able to get beyond. I mean, we will be able to react to situations that happen. Being humbled is fine, but then how many times we have got humbled, but then we don't get the right learning out of it? That is because we don't look at it in the way it has to be looked, for which we need somebody. We need a guru or a representative of the guru, or we need a senior Vaishnava, or we need just Vaishnavas, we need association. So the very fact that I stick on to the association means that I'm trying to be humble. We'll not be able to survive in an association if we don't show humility. Correct, na? We will not have that kind of relationship. So it all comes down to that basic thing, whether we take it, accept it willingly, step by step, or you take it when it is pushed down to you, which means that you are being humbled by somebody, you take it. But either way, you have to take it, and we have to take it. If you take it on our own, it is good. If you don't, then we will be humbled. But then there also we can become, I mean, it can go the other way, where we might revolt. We might decide that, okay, I'm not a Brajanandi, I'm a Goshtianandi or some. We will again take, and another thing is we will take the help of Shastras to substantiate what we are thinking. Our mind is very tricky. So we will have to put all that aside and then consult. That means have association, have people. In fact, Radhesham Prabhu said, you connect with somebody at that level where you can have these open talks, you can freely discuss. Prabhuji, it happened to me like this. In private, whatever. I mean, each of us will have our own way of opening up. Some of us are not so comfortable. We could always do that, and thereby then try to look at taking it forward. But then the person whom we are consulting, you have to be careful with. That's the only caution. But otherwise, I think being humbled. That's a good point you brought out. But how we react, it is what we want eventually. What is it that I am desiring? What is that yearning that I have? I know I am bad. I have to get out of it. That's what it said. In that yesterday's that 5 gunas, it said, what is that? I'm not a yo-yo guy. I'm a guy who is a struggler. I'm a struggler. So struggle and then try to reach there. I don't know if it answered your question, but anyone else has anything on that? Please go ahead. Yes, very true. Give them mic.
Hello.
Yes.
So because the ego comes into picture, so when you're humbled also, you'll start speculating on that. So when you said that the association with the people, that matters a lot, provided you ask somebody the question, is this the correct? So if you don't ask, then you will speculate. Just a comment.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much. So Prabhu is saying that we have to swallow our pride and then ask. Asking is also difficult, no? You have to ask somebody means we have to swallow our pride and then ask, Hare, what will he think of me? So, thank you. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you very much for a wonderful class. Really wonderful class. The scholar in us, the devotee in us, you cater to all of us. There are many questions, Prabhuji, but I'm struggling to ask which question. So you mentioned about the mopping, so how to relish the seva of mopping?
How to relish the seva of mopping?
Yeah, you said we should relish. How do I relish?
I said they were relishing it.
So how do I relish?
So that's a good point. So how do we relish the seva of mopping? So anybody has any thoughts on this? How do you think you can relish? Is there anything that you relish? The seva? Serving prasadam. How do you relish serving prasadam? Why? How do you relish? For me, it's like, okay, I'm just serving. There's not much of relishment. In fact, oh my God, it is finishing. I have not eaten. For me, it is anxiety. No, I am just help myself understand what you're trying to say. So in the sense that, we will not know relishing. How do I relish? I do it as a seva. That is why we have this thing of any seva that we are doing, we are not relishing it and then doing it, but then we are doing it dutifully. We are doing it in, what is that? What is the devotional activity called as? Vaidhi Bhakti, yeah. So we are not in the other, this thing yet. So we are not in Raghavana, we're still in Vaidhi only. So we will have to keep doing it and then wait for the mercy. I may or may not relish. It's not for my relishment that I'm doing. In fact, none of those people, like the Lakshmi, the Sahasra Koti, they are not doing it for their satisfaction. They are not relishing. I mean, they will relish because it is pleasing Krishna. Like how the mother takes all the hardship to please the child. But the mother is happy with the hardship. Why? Because she sees the smile on the child. So it is reflective. So when you know that the Lord is pleased, then it is reflective. You become happy. And then it says, our parampara, it says that making the Lord happy, then your happiness increases. Right? So then you start beginning to relish. You don't relish it because you are relishing independently of you. You stop thinking independently about myself, but we always think in relation to Krishna. Like material example, how a mother stops thinking about herself, but she thinks in relation to the child. Anything that she plans, anything she wants to do or anything, it is all in relation to the child. Yes or no? When you have a small child, you have to get up, you have to do your cooking, all that you will do, but then you will always in relation to the child. That means he'll be sleeping at that time I will do this. So like that, it's always there. So you are aligned. So we are not so much aligned to Krishna in the way how a mother is. And they give that example. Prabhupada gives that example of selfless love, which is the love of a mother for the child. So that's the nearest material example to the selfless love that we need to exhibit to the Lord. So when we have this paradigm shift within us by the mercy of the Lord, then the relishment is not my relishment. It is because the Lord is happy, so I am happy. So my relishment doesn't come. I hope that explains. Anybody has another explanation they can give. Hare Krishna. Any other doubts we can conclude? Any questions from the Mataji's side? I mean, if I don't ask it. Okay, thank you all so much. Thank you for patiently hearing me out. I just spoke of the philosophy. I don't follow any of them. I seek your blessings so that I can also try to be humble and make some progress. So kindly bless me. Thank you so much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaur Sitanath Paramanande, Hari Hari Bol. So offering Vaishnava pranams to all. Vancha kalpatrubhyascha kripa sindubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta ananta koti Vaishnava vrinda ki jai. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I request devotees to be seated. So let us all thank for this wonderful class that Prabhuji had, His Grace Prasannatma Balaram Prabhu, and the Kannada class was given by His Grace Anirudh Sevaya Prabhu. Let us all express our deep gratitude by loudly chanting once Hare Krishna Maha Mantra.
Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama.
Hare Krishna. Quick announcements and some important announcements also. So since today's Ekadashi, we have the Parna timing for tomorrow is from 6:26 to 9:43. Today's Prasadam sponsor, we have Srinivas Gopal Prabhu and Mataji have sponsored Prasadam in the loving memory of their grandparents and also requesting blessings from this August assembly for their spiritual benefit. We also have Prasadam sponsored by the new initiates, the devotees who have got newly initiated from His Holiness Radhana Swami Maharaj. I'll call out the names a little later, but those devotees are also sponsoring Prasadam today, since it is Ekadashi, and also sponsoring next Sunday, so that we can get a feast. So all these devotees are seeking blessings from this assembly here. Let us all loudly chant once Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We'll be having His Holiness Jai Pataka Swami Maharaj Vyas Puja on 29th March. that is also one of the auspicious Ekadashi day. A few other announcements we have, as we had announced last time also, there is a workshop that's going to happen on 21st and 22nd by His Grace Balaram Shakti Prabhu. The topic, as I had said earlier, is, are you sure your bhakti is pure? Now in this session, in this workshop, there will be self-evaluation tools will be discussed for understanding how our practice of bhakti is and how we can progress. So those who are interested, the request is, there is this flyer which is posted in the group, and there is a small QR code here. You have to register yourself. There is a small registration fees. So sessions will be on Saturday and Sunday, next Saturday and Sunday, 21st March and 22nd. On 21st March, there will be two sessions. Session 1 is from 11:30 to 1:30 p.m. The session 2 after Prasadam will be from 2:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. And the Sunday session will be after Bhagavatam class from 12 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. The first session is about understanding the difference between pure and mixed devotional service. The second session is about understanding if the elements of pure devotional service are there in sadhana bhakti. And the third, most important, is proof of concepts from the Shastras and the writings of the Acharyas. So these are the wonderful topics from 21st. There are 3 sessions. So please ensure you register yourself so that the devotees, the team can serve you all better. And the second important is the IDC course. So those who have not have taken the IDC course, there is an opportunity to take IDC course in English and Kannada as well. The sessions will be online sessions, and this you can communicate it to your other devotees also, who you know who are yet to take the IDC. Sessions will be online classes starting from March 15. Total 8 sessions, evening 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. So please note the timings. 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. 8 sessions will be there, and small registration fees of 500 rupees. So the sessions will be in Kannada and English both. So both devotees can get benefit out of it. And we're also, there is upcoming, those who have come up the stairs, you see this Spandana flyer which has been placed over there. So Spandana, the session is planned for 28th March, and it's an evening session from 5 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. followed by dinner prasadam. And the topic of session is impact of sleep on body and mind. The sleep quality and quantity. The couple of things are that you can read the flyers. Day sleep versus night sleep. The cost of late nights, insomnia and sleepiness. So this session will be conducted by Dr. Savitri Sambamurthy Gayatri. She is a BMS gold medalist, MD Ayurveda, and then senior Ayurveda physician. I think she's practicing since 1993 in Bangalore. Samiksha Ayurvedalaya. So that also a small registration fees of 100 rupees. So those who are interested, 28th March, timing is from 5 p.m. to 7:30, followed by dinner prasadam. Registration for devotees is free. Now we have this way. So we have okay. So our temple is also conducting a yatra to places. The places to be visited are Naimisharanya, Ayodhya, Chitrakoot Dham, Prayagraj, Varanasi, Bodh Gaya, and many other places will be covered. The bookings have opened. The yatra is starting from April 10 to 22nd, 7 nights and 8 days. There is a small charge of 27,999. So additional charges will be applicable for flights and train tickets. So please contact Nimayan Prabhu. It's very important you have to register because the bookings have to be done. Okay. So I'll just call out the names of the devotees. I would request Srinivas Gopal Babu to accept the Mahaprasad also. You can hand over the prasad. So I'll just Hare Krishna. So as I said, we have some devotees who have recently got recently, since it's on 10th March, some devotees got initiated on 9th of March, and some got initiated on 12th of March also. So I'll call out their names. I'd request them to just stand at the places where they are, and I'll call out their the names I've sorted by the Karmi names, and I'll also call out their initiated names so they can just stand out, and then we all bless them and pray for them at the end. So we have Abhishek Prabhu. Abhishek Prabhu's, we can also chant Haribol once you hear their initiated name. So Abhishek Prabhu's initiated name is Advaita Pranadas. Aparna Mataji, Anadi Rasa Devidasi. Aarti Mataji, Aparna Rasa Devidasi. Basama Mataji, Sachi Priya Devidasi. Kalyan Prabhu's Kishore Chaitanya Das. Lalita Mataji is here. Lalita Mataji, Nitya Kishori Devidasi. There are few devotees who are outstation, and those some had some services, so they were not able to join. I'll still call out their names. Kantama Mataji, Kamala Lakshmi Devidasi, Mallika Raghavendra Prabhu, Mallika Raghavendra Mataji, Malini Preeti Devidasi, Manasi Mataji, Mukunda Priya Devidasi, Nayan Prabhu, Navanita Chandradas, Neminath Prabhu is here. Navadip Madhav Prabhu, Madhav Das. Padma Mataji, Prema Gaurangi Devidasi. Preeti Mataji, please stand, keep standing. Preeti Mataji, Padma Kishori Devidasi. Raghavendra Prabhu, Rama Gauranga Das. Revati Raman Prabhu, Rama Sakha Das. Shekhar Prabhu, Nitai Thakur Das. Shweta Mataji is here. Shweta Mataji, Sangeeta Rasa Devidasi. Shivarama Prabhu, Subala Priya Das. Snehita Mataji, Smita Kishori Devidasi. Srinivasulu Raju Prabhu is here. Shyamananda Gopala Das. Sumit Prabhu, Sanatana Premadas, Sunanda Vasu Mataji, Sundari Priya Devidasi, Suryansh Prabhu, Sri Ramacharana Das, Swapna Mataji, Shyama Radhika Devidasi, Vasu Prabhu, Vasudev Ghosh Das, and Venkataramana Prabhu, Vipina Kishore Das. So all these devotees who have taken this baby steps towards the spiritual progress. So let us all welcome them all and loudly chant Hare Krishna and express our gratitude, and also pray for them loudly by chanting once Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you so much, Prabhuji and Mataji. Thank you so much. So now today, we all go downstairs, and there is one request from the management also. We have been requested to chant one round of japa. We have been witnessing this disturbance that are happening outside, especially this war that is happening. Today or tomorrow, definitely if this war continues, it will impact us also. Maybe materially, but material anxieties also drill down to our sadhana also. Now, as a measure to see if we can pray, chant nicely, and try to avoid if this disturbance does not continue further, there is a request that we all together chant one round of japa. So we all go downstairs, and we'll be also having 1 hour extra of Kirtan. Now, after the japa, those who are, those names that I called out, those are newly initiated, after the japa, I would request them to quickly come over here in the hall. Narari Chaitanya Prabhu would like to address you. So after the japa, please come over here. There will be no follow-up calls. Please ensure after the japa, you all are here, so that Narari Prabhu can address you all. Hare Krishna. We all quickly go downstairs, do one round of japa, and then Ashtakam will be there and we'll go for Prasadam.